Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and turn my notifications on. I post new videos every Tuesday and Friday at 2 p.m. Also, I do vlogs and those come out days in between. And also, I do live streams and those come out at random times, so you need my notifications on. Also, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media. The links will be down below. My username to everything is @Kristo. Okay guys, so today we are going to be talking about a drug that is like very not well perceived by the public. So before I even get into this story time, I just want to give you guys some like facts, like FAX and like shit about acid before I even like go into like a story time about it, because I feel like a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about it, and I don't want to have to explain that in this story time. And holy shit, the lighting is getting so bright. Maybe I'm tripping. Okay, so the first thing I would like to say is acid itself is not a very dangerous drug. Like many other drugs, you can't overdose from acid. I mean, I guess you can overdose from weed too, but like it takes an excessive amount, and like before you even like are able to consume the amount needed to die, like you would already be way too fucked up to even function to do that. So it's impossible to die from just doing it alone. A lot of people think that like when you're on acid, now this is just from my personal experiences, I have never tripped too hard. I've only done like 2 tabs at once, both being like 100 UG or like somewhere around that, nothing too extreme. But whenever you trip, you still are able to like control what you're doing. It's kind of like, you know how whenever you're high or drunk, you still know what you're doing, you know the decisions you're making, like you are fully capable of making decisions on what is right or wrong. Like you know what you're doing. You're not gonna just go up to like, I don't know, a building and kick the building and like go put your dick in like a pothole. Like you're not gonna just do something stupid. Like you know exactly what you're doing and you know exactly why you're doing it. It's not that extreme. Also, one thing that I really need to like get in the minds of everyone is a bad trip, because I'm going to do several story times revolving around bad trips on acid, not just me but my friends. And I'd like to explain to you guys that a bad trip is nothing like what it's made out to be. Like a lot of people think that whenever you have a bad trip, you like visually like trip and you're like, holy shit, there's like a devil. Like whenever you're tripping, you don't trip that hard. Like you just see like things like possibly moving, like, or like colors being brighter, and like a lot of, okay, so the one thing that I would like to say that like everyone has to see at some point is like people will say the walls are breathing or like something's breathing, like the floor's breathing. That just means that like the stuff's like moving. I don't even know how to fucking explain it. Like you just have to do it, but like nothing is like too crazy. And like during a bad trip, you don't see devils and shit. It's honestly just like a really panicked feeling. Like whenever you find out something really shocking and you're like like that oh shit moment, and then like you know how like your heart drops and then it starts beating really fast and fast and fast. That's what it's like, but like for 30 minutes, but like 10 times more extreme. So it's like just like you severely panicking. There's nothing else. You're not seeing shit. You're not going crazy from stuff you're seeing. You're literally just like having like, I don't know, like a panicked moment. Acid is a non-addictive drug. It's not like heroin where you do it 5 times and you're like, fuck, I need heroin every day now. Like, it's nothing like that. Now, I guess you can get addicted to anything, but it's not an addictive drug. Okay, so I think I've given you guys enough information to justify the reason why I did it. And I guess I'm going to go ahead and start with the story time now. So get ready, here's my first trip. I would also like to say I am not telling this story time to seem like a cool person. I am not trying to say that doing acid or other drugs is a cool thing to do. I am not encouraging you to do drugs. I am just simply telling a story to entertain. Okay, so the first time I tripped, it was in the summer leaving freshman year going into sophomore year, I think. And I'm saying I think because a lot of times I do shit for the first time, I just don't remember. Like, I honestly don't remember the first time I smoked weed. Like, I try to think of like the first time I've done it, and I'm like, honestly, I have no clue. I just know like some of the encounters of like the beginning times I've done it. Like, I don't know the very first time. So I'm just gonna assume this is the first one ever because this is the first one I remember, but I have no guarantee, no documentation saying this is my first time ever. So I was with my 2 friends, and I'm going to call them Dan and Evan. Looking back at this now, this sounds like a really shady story, but Dan and Evan I met online because they don't go to my school. I never met them through my school. Like, they have nothing to do with my school. I just met them completely online. And we probably hung out like maybe 3 or 4 times before this occasion happened. And I think that's kind of funny because like it only took 3-4 times that we hung out, and the next thing you know, we're tripping on acid together. I will admit that I made a lot of like bad mistakes like that. Like, it didn't end up bad for me, but like I would say you should probably, you know, like wait until you know someone better before like you just take whatever they're giving you. But yeah, we were just bored, and it was like in the morning, I think. I feel like it was like 12 p.m. That's not in the morning, but like that's morning for me. But I remember Dan was like, for a second, he was like, yo, look at the Snapchat store, and it was like his dealer or something, and he's like, they restocked, they got a new sheet of acid. I didn't know what any of this shit meant, like at this time period. I didn't know a thing about acid. All I knew this day was that acid makes you trip, and like I didn't even know what tripping was like. Like that's all I knew. And then Dan was like, I can get us 2 tabs, and then Evan was like, I'll trip sit you guys, and I was like, alright, well I guess this is a good idea. So Dan had some sketchy guy come over here, and the only thing I remember about the guy that sold him it, he had like a really long like gray beard, and that only added to the sketchy factor because like most dealers, I don't know about you people, but like weed dealers and shit that I talk to now, they're all like my age. This guy was probably like 40 maybe. I mean, I'm saying 40, but like he had a beard that was gray, so like who the fuck knows. So Dan took the tab first because it was not his first time. It was like his 80th time or something like that. And I never did it before, and I was like kind of scared to try it because like I knew about a bad trip, and I was like, what if I have a bad trip? Like I don't know how to prevent it. I just wanted to let you all know for future reference, like just for your own sake, like this has nothing to do with me. If you're having a bad trip, it doesn't have to last the entire trip. Like you can have you trip for 12 hours. So you can have a bad trip for like 5 minutes of those 12 hours, or you can have it for the full time depending on how you deal with it. But you can deal with it and you can fix it. That's all up to you. If you're having a bad trip, you're uncomfortable about something and you just gotta fix it. But yeah, so I was like hesitant to do it. And he took it and like it's been 30 minutes and then he started to like laugh or something and he was like, I'm gonna start tripping soon. And I was like, fuck. I was getting anxiety about him starting to trip before me because then I was like in the back of my mind, that means that if he's already tripping and I take mine now, he's gonna stop tripping before me, and I don't want him to stop tripping before me. I don't know why I even cared about that, but I did. Now, after I finally got the courage to put it on my tongue, which by the way, this is really funny, but like whenever you take acid, you put it on your tongue, like right there. Or like, you can put it underneath your tongue, or you can just swallow it all together. Like, you don't have to do anything, you just have to ingest it. And I didn't know that, so whenever they said just let it dissolve on your tongue, I legitimately just kept it on my tongue, like, right there. And it was just like this, like, inside my mouth, like, would not move my tongue for 30 minutes until that thing dissolved. Like, I was just like, thought it had to stay there. Don't ask me why, I just thought it did. But yeah, the first thing I noticed is, like, after an hour or something, I don't really remember, but I just remember I was in this stage where I couldn't stop laughing. I don't think I was visually tripping yet, I was just, like, laughing. And I had, like, I'm gonna point to you, like, this is how specific it is. Right here, like, you know, like, right... that bone like underneath your like your sternum, whatever it's called. I remember a distinct like feeling there, and it just like that feeling there made me want to laugh. Like it was like an itch, and it was like the only way you could itch it is by laughing. But like it wasn't actually itchy. I'm just saying it's like something that was there made me want to laugh. That probably makes no sense. Like, that's why people say acid is so indescribable. And then I think the first visual trip that I noticed was I was looking at long carpet. Like, he has long carpet on his floor. And I'll show you guys, like, a picture of long carpet here so you know what I mean. And I looked at that, and I don't know why, but to this day, whenever I trip, like, I still see the pattern of snowflakes in carpet like that. Like, I don't know why. And also, whenever I look at mud, this has nothing to do with my first trip. I'm just talking about, in general, when I look at mud, I see, like, a reptile pattern. And when I tell people that, they like freak out. They're like, ooh, that's scary, but like it's not scary like the way it happens, you know what I mean? And then after noticing that the carpet looked like snowflakes, I increasingly started to visually trip much harder, to the point like I was tripping like this is probably like the best acid I've ever had. Like I remember I was tripping pretty fucking hard. I remember that, like the next thing I noticed is like every time I closed my eyes, I would see shit in my head, and like every other time I've tripped, that's like never really happened. Like I remember seeing in other people's videos, they say when you close your eyes, you can see geometric shapes. I've never seen that except for like my first time doing it, if that makes any sense. But anyways, after I started to increasingly trip, like to the point where I was just like from the 60s, like roaming around. Dan, Evan, we need to go for a nature walk. But there's like no nature. By the way, we're at Evan's house, and Evan lives in the hood, so I didn't think this through. So like the issue is like in the hood, obviously no one really cares if you're like on some drug, and that's like the logic I was using. But the thing is like, I don't even think I'd have a bad trip now, but like at the time, I had like a horrible trip walking around, because every time I saw someone, I was like, oh my god, they know I'm tripping. And also, every time I saw like a building that was run down or like covered by weeds that were growing up it, that just freaked me out for no reason. I was like, it's like the fucking It the Clown's gonna come out of there. Like, I don't know. But I remember looking at the road, and it looked like the road was breathing, like, you know, like, but the road was going like this. And that still happens to me every trip. And at this time, I still get like bad trips about this. I don't know why. But like I started to get this trip where I felt like really alone. Like as if there was no one else in the world besides me. And I felt like really... like, I felt like I needed more friends to be there. Like, I felt like I needed, like, a crowd of 20 people to be watching me in order for me to feel sane. And I don't know why I felt like that. I was, like, scared to tell my friends that I was tripping because I think I was, like, 15 at the time. And, I was, like, so afraid of my friends to find out because I was like, everyone's gonna think I'm a crackhead, which I was very rightfully able to think that way, because as soon as one person found out that I tripped, it somehow blurred into rumors, like, and a lot of people in my school think I'm a drug addict to this day. But eventually we got back to Evan's house, and me and Dan just had like the longest conversations, like forever. Like we just had them for like 3 hours, and eventually Evan got like sick and tired of watching us, and he invited his friends over so they could all like smoke or whatever while we are tripping our asses off. And when his friends came over, my trip got so good. Like I still have like yet to overcome how good this trip was. Like none of my trips to this day will ever be as good as this one, where I was just like sitting and like talking to everyone, and like I don't even know who they are now, because like whenever they came over, I was peeking, so like their faces looked all kinds of fucked up. Like I bet like the way I'm thinking of their faces, there's no way they actually look like that. Like they probably look nothing like that. Like I got the hair color and shit down, but like facial structure, no. Because I remember whenever I tripped in like May, my one friend's face looks so much different than it usually does, and I don't know why, but like I fuck up faces when I'm tripping. Like their foreheads look bigger, or like one eye looks smaller than the other. I don't know. It sounds scary, but it's not. But after we were talking to these people for a while, everything started, you know, we're just still tripping. Nothing really exciting goes on, but then the sun starts to set. And I swear to God, I always see the sunset when I'm tripping, but the sunset was never this good. Like, I think I might have a picture on my phone from this day, and I'll put it on my, like right here if I still have it, but I probably don't. But the sunset was so nice. Like, it was insane. And watching the sunset on acid is like the most enjoyable thing ever. And nothing else really exciting happens, but I do want to mention that I remember I stopped tripping before Dan, and Dan tripped for like an extra hour rather than I did. And I think that's weird because he took it first. But anyways, that's it for this story time. If you guys liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you've ever done acid. Let me know your experiences. And let me know if you want me to do more story times about them, because I have plenty. And don't forget to subscribe and turn my notifications on. I post new videos every Tuesday and Friday at 2 p.m. I also put vlogs out and do live streams at random times. Follow me on all of my social media. Links will be down below. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.